Greetings. My name is Andy May. I am an amateur potter, and Zena with Sinking Creek Pottery, she's one of our Blue Ridge Pottery Guild publicity people, asked me to demonstrate how I use my favorite tools. So we decided that doing a short video might be the best way. This is take two, so I did one a little while ago, and all you saw was a blank slate. So anyway, be patient with me. This is only my second video. So I will be building what I call a terraTUBE of my own design. It's a bisque-fired vessel that you insert in a container garden or flower pot. You fill it with water. I don't have one handy, to hydrate your plants over time. Since bisque-fire pottery is porous, water slowly seeps through the walls into the soil. So you just top it off your tube periodically to keep your plants nice and moisturized. So I make a bunch of sizes, basically 3. And I turn my forms on my wood lathe over here. And so this is the number 2 and 3 size. We're going to be making the number 1 size today, just for the sake of the demo. So I've rolled out a 1/4-inch slab. Here's my template. It doesn't have to be all that precise, because I am not all that precise. And we're going to do this like a regular, just like you would a normal template. All right, so again, we're not all that fussy. We don't need to be. So, all right, get this out of the way. And then the next step is to bevel the edges, which we will do with this off-the-shelf beveling tool. And it's okay that this is narrow at the top, because we're going to cut some darts in it. So one of my favorite tools is my scoring tool. Everybody loves their own scoring tool. This is made out of zebra wood and nichrome. Let's see if you're seeing that. Nichrome wire, 80 size wire. The nichrome's real stiff. It's a high temperature wire, so I really like the way it scores. One of the things I like about it is when I score, I get these nice crumbly, I'll show you here in a second, I get these nice crumbles on it. So I'm getting not just the scoring, but I get a little extra meat, a little extra clay in there. So, okay, so scoring, open up the slip bucket, and I'm using this clay, is called, what is it called? Craggy Crunch. It's from Highwater, I'm sorry. And as many of you know this, they have, I think they've closed up shop, or at least in Asheville. So, all right, so we score and slip, and then we take our mold. And since this is a little shorter than the mold, that's perfectly fine. I'm gonna wrap it around. Hopefully you can see that. Yep. And start with the inside first. This clay is a little drier than I like it, but that's okay. And what we're going to find is that this is not quite going to meet, but that's okay too, because all we need to do is take my rolling pin, which is made out of oak. Made it for my daughter for pastry. She didn't like it because it was too heavy. But it works perfectly in the Potter Studio. So we're gonna squeeze that out a little bit. And again, I don't worry too much about the edges, although I think I will trim this up a little bit here. And then rebevel, score it a little bit, and reslip. All right, let's try it again. Get my little wrap on here. Make sure my pointy end is covered. Make sure I keep my shrink wrap out of the seam because that won't do too well. And I'm just pinching this tight along here, just making the seam a normal seam. And then what I do is I take my little paddle here, and I'm getting a nice, a little better bond by, I think, by paddling this. Okay, and then I'm gonna try and just squeeze it back onto that mold shape. I don't worry too much about any of these cracks. In fact, they're kind of helpful because they let the water go through. All right, so my next task is to cut some darts. I've already got one started with the seam here. See if you're able to see that. Yeah. I cut a few darts to get my pointy shape. One more. Whoop. Okay. So I'm going to slide this up a little bit so that that shrink wrap doesn't get in there. And then we're going to add just a drop of slip on the inside here just to make it stick a little better. And you can just spray a little water in there if you need to, if the clay gets a little too dry. We're not going to be too fussy here. What we're trying to do is just get it to the shape so it goes into your soil a little bit easier. All right, so far so good. Now I'm going to take one of my rib here. This one's a little kind of stiffer. Well, I don't know, it's the middle size. And just shape this, smooth this out a little bit. Get a nice seal there. Okay. So that's pretty much what I want to do. All right. So now what I'm going to do is lay it down. I want this to be straight just because it goes in the kiln better. So I'll just rotate this around again, cutting with my little knife. Pull this out. I want to get the shrink wrap out as best I can. Come on. There we go. Now I'm not worried about this edge because I'm going to show you. We're going to do another step here in a minute. It'll make more sense. All right, so I slip this back on here because now I want to put some texture in it. For the sake of the demonstration, I'm going to do half smooth so I can put a 3D stamp in it, and then this half I'm just going to use my serrated kidney here to give it just a little interesting texture, and it probably also creates a little more surface area for the water to go through, although I don't think that's that big a deal. All right, so there's that. Now we'll just kind of roll it over. I'm going to smooth this out just a little bit. I got a clump in there. And now we use the 3D printed stamp I mentioned. Make sure that this is still loose before I get that. There we go. All right, so this just says "Ashes of Laughter." It's a line from an old Robbie Robertson song back from the 60s probably. So we just press that in there. I'm doing this on the form, so I've got some good resistance there to something solid to push against. Kind of wrap it around a little bit and shape it, and there we go. All right. Oop. So I pinched that a little too much there on the thin spot, so I'm going to have to go back and shape it. I just slid the form up in there. I didn't have it in quite far enough. So, and now I'm going to go back and finish up the texturing. All right. So we slide this off here, and we get a bat. And I'll show you one of my other favorite tools. This is a 3D printed mixer. Sarah Joyner, fellow guild member and owner of Adiovart, I think that's the way it's pronounced. She sells these mixers at Blue Moon Mercantile on Main Street in Salem. She's got a wonderful booth there. She has a lot of Mako glazes, a whole big selection of Mako glazes, and some of her amazing pottery. Really wonderful birdhouses and colanders and stuff. You really need to check her out if you haven't done that. So here's how these mixers we found are perfect for mixing glaze into pint-sized bottles like this. They do a great job on that. In this size, they fit perfectly. So what I do is I put my drill on low speed, and I put this is actually a Mako glaze. It's called Cinnabar. Gives it a nice reddish hue. I don't know if you can see that there, but anyway. So we just mix it on slow speed. I like to go, I don't know, a couple minutes, minute maybe, and then I reverse it. But you got to be careful because it'll splash more when you do that. And you get it going the other direction just to get a good solid mix. And then spin it a little bit to get the excess glaze off in the vessel. Now you can take these in your slot bucket and stick it in there and turn it on high speed to clean it. It'll do a really nice job, and then clean it, or turn it reverse it the other direction and just wipe it off. So they're real easy to clean. Now, something I learned not long ago is that you don't have to wait until a piece is bisque fired to glaze it. You can actually glaze greenware. Who knew? All right, so what I'm going to do is take this and dip it in. I don't want to go too much because I want it to be porous as much as possible. But this gives it a little nice color. Let it drip a minute, and then I set it back on the bat, and I'm just going to leave that there because since it's greenware, when it gets to be nice leather hard, then I'm able to clean off the excess glaze, shape the inside, do a little nicer job on cleaning up, add some whatever detail that I want to in the leather hard state. Okay, I'll probably at some point 3D print a rim shaper to get the rim nice and round, but at this point that hasn't been a big deal for me. So there you go. This is a terraTUBE using my favorite tools, the paddle, my scoring tool, which I really like, the 3D printer stuff. Oh, I didn't mention the squiggly tool. I use this one's a little small for this, but on some of the bigger sizes, I've used this tool to kind of smooth out the inside. And then also if I'm shaping the rim of a vessel, the seam of that vessel, I can use that to, like this. So that's one of my faves as well. What else? I guess that's it. So if you find any of these tools you're interested or would like one, and I'm emphasis on one, I don't do production work, I'd be interested in talking with you about them if you'd like me to build you one. So there we go. Any questions, contact anybody in the Blue Ridge Potters Guild. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.